Bugs crashing your pack's party? Whether they've got paws or sneakers, your pack deserves a home that's protected from pests. That's where Wondercide comes in. Plant-powered protection made with steam-distilled natural essential oils that actually work. It kills and repels fleas, ticks, mosquitoes, and ants without questionable ingredients or overpowering smells. Safe to use around kids and pets when used as directed. Lab-proven to work fast. And proudly made in the USA. We offer sprays for pets, people, homes, and yards. Plus, spot-on treatments, collars, and even shampoos. Whatever your pack needs, we've got it covered. Founded by a pet parent looking for a better way to protect her dog Luna, Wondercide's now protected over 21 million lives and counting. You might have even seen us on Shark Tank. Go to Wondercide.com and use code WONDER20 for 20% off your first order. That's WONDER20 at Wondercide.com. Wondercide. Protect your pack with plant-powered Wondercide today.
Do you love movies? So do I. What's up, y'all? It's KB, and I love movies. Inviting you to listen to The Conversation, a film podcast where passion meets perspective and opinion. From the old school to the new, I invite a guest on to discuss the movies that thrill us, challenge us, break our hearts, or even blow our minds. There's always new episodes dropping wherever you get your podcasts. So join the conversation. We don't just watch movies. We love talking about them too. The Conversation with KB Loves Movies, a part of Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
We're in Way Media. Merry Christmas, Midnight viewers, and welcome to our Christmas Clip Show Spectacular. We've covered a lot of anthology series over the years, and odds are you're going to get some holiday-themed episodes in there. For this particular holiday, we've gone back through our archives and strung together all the various segments pertaining to the fat man in the red suit. God bless us, everyone. Now, I said we've gone back through the archives, which means in the earliest segments, you're going to hear evolution at work. We've been at this for some time, so I hope you don't shudder at the quality as much as I did upon re-listening. I think I'm calling in over the phone on a few episodes. It's not spectacular, but it gets better. So what we have on tap for you today, all you manger-dwelling creeps, are a segment from Tales from the Crypt, the television series. That's And All Through the House from the pilot. Then we have And All Through the House from the Amicus anthology from the 1970s. That's also called Tales from the Crypt. Next up is a Rod Serling special from his series Night Gallery. We spent some time with The Messiah on Mott Street. And finally, we've got an entire themed episode from Twilight Zone 85. Those segments are Night of the Meek, But Can She Type, and The Star. From everyone here at Midnight Viewing, Mike White, Chris Stashew, HP, Antonio Lepore, Ripley Jean, Jasmine Williams, and myself, have a wonderful holiday and a batshit crazy new year.
Crypt Keeper, having a little holiday fun. Why else would I be in this getup? Unless there was a clause in my contract. In fact, I've got some Christmas goose for you. Goosebumps, that is. Yes, indeedy. A little terror tale chock full of holiday fear. I mean, cheer, of course. So, get a gander of a Yuletide Yelp yarn that goes a little something like this. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house.
All right, and now we're going to talk about And All Through the House. The episode aired June 10th, 1989, the same evening as The Man Who Was Death. It's directed by Robert Zemeckis. Yes, that Robert Zemeckis. He actually helped produce the show as well. It's written by Fred Decker, who also wrote Predator. It stars Mary Ellen Trainor and Larry Drake, along with Marshall Bell pulling his best Weekend at Bernie's impersonation. And the synopsis for the episode is: a greedy woman makes the mistake of murdering her husband while an escaped mental patient dressed in a Santa outfit is on the loose. Mike, what did you think of this episode?
This is another one I really enjoy. This is actually one of my favorite comics, and they had adapted this previously when they made the film Tales from the Crypt back in the early 70s. That particular one starred Joan Collins. This one is hard to beat story-wise. I mean, if you want to talk about Man Who Was Death is kind of an anomaly in the Tales from the Crypt sort of EC universe. This is pretty much what you would expect from any one of them. We have a deplorable character who does get their comeuppance at the end. It's an interesting setting, and then it's a Christmas time, and you effectively have Santa Claus attempting to kill your lead character. It is pretty fantastically directed by Zemeckis, and I really like it a lot. I think it's up there. I do think it suffers a bit from the lead performance by Mary Ellen Trainor, who is good in small roles. Watching her try and lead this for the entire episode is a bit of a stacked deck. I know we're not talking about the original movie that I mentioned yet, but there's something that in the comic and in the original ones they did very well, which is they made she effectively kills her husband in order to get the insurance money. And in the original film, they made him the sweetest man on earth. In this one, they have turned him into in two lines of dialogue, a total prick, where you kind of like can side with her. They kind of stacked the deck in her favor. Other than those two things that I have against the episode, I think it's really good. And I think Larry Drake as this deranged man dressed in a Santa Claus outfit is really scary.
I like parts of this episode, but I think overall Mary Ellen Trainor falls really flat. I think her Scream Queen thing that she's going for doesn't work very well.
I'm with you. I mean, I think I just made that point. Like, she's not great. Like, she doesn't really, she doesn't engender this kind of sympathy that you got from William Sadler, who is also doing horrible things. Like, she's so shrill in the role that I'm kind of waiting for Santa to kill her. And that's not something you want. Like, you can have an anti-hero who does horrible things, and as long as they're a bit charming, you'll go with them and, follow them to the end. Not only is her performance, like, really shrill, but her character, as written, is a dummy. She kills her husband, and then the first thing she does is get the will and testament and then call her lover and spill that she killed him onto his answering machine.
In an affectation that is so hokey, it's beyond hokey.
Yeah, I mean, it is exposition as dialogue, which is the number one crime in films. Like, don't have the character tell us what they're doing. Let's see what they're doing. And, like, completely superfluous. We didn't need it at all. Like, if she's just killing this guy and then we see her with the will, yeehaw, we know what's going on. Don't do that. And it should be noted that the guy that she's calling his answering machine message, I think, is something to the effect of, leave me your name, number, and measurements. Like, okay, so she's killing this guy to get the money to go with, obviously, a douchebag, and she's doing it in the stupidest way possible.
But he's the Nick Monster. That's what.
Oh, the Nick Monster. That's right.
Yeah, So the thing is with this episode, there seems to be a bit of a disconnect in my mind between why she's doing what she's doing. Mm-hmm. And the rest of the episode, like, I don't know, the juxtaposition with her killing Marshall Bell and then the killer Santa played by Larry Drake coming around the house, there's like a disconnect in a way that the comic plays up way better. Because in the comic, she's like dragging the body around in the house, trying to figure out what she's going to do with it. In the episode, she like drags him outside and then he somehow survives having a ice pick or a fireplace poker driven through his skull.
Well, I kind of like that shock. I like that one moment that, well, I mean, you talk about brain injuries. Who knows if the person's actually dead? They might not be. That was fine as far as I'm concerned. Her plan to throw him into the well, however, negates her plan of him being dead and her collecting the money. Because if he was just a missing person, it's going to take like a year or two for her to collect. Like in the comic and, again, in the sort of Joan Collins original film, she's got a plan and she's affecting it. In fact, in the Joan Collins one, she takes his body and just throws it down the basement stairs. Like, that's what happened. He fell down a flight of stairs. This one, did she have a plan? I don't know. And she goes about it in like a really lame way. I will say, however, yes, these are problems. Nevertheless, once Santa shows up and is menacing her, I think it works really good as a nice sort of a snowy cat and mouse episode.
Yeah, so that's my thing. Like I said, parts of the episode don't work, but parts of it do. I really like you said, Larry Drake is great, but the way that they did it in the comic, I actually liked it a little bit more than in the episode in certain respects. I like what Larry Drake did with his serial killer Santa, but in the comic, you've got this dread of her just looking outside and seeing him.
Yeah.
And then you see him right at the end. The final panel is the final shot of the episode. They're mimicked. And
yes, absolutely.
I think that would have worked better in some respects. I mean, I get why they didn't do it because showing is better than telling.
And they needed 22 minutes. Like the comic is like, it's snap your fingers and it's gone kind of a thing where there's not too much meat to it. So, I mean, they had to add in these other little beats and stuff like, which she has to like go get the gun, which she can't really reach, and she accidentally locks herself in the closet, or like when she's outside. And I actually really like this beat where she has the keys to the house and she drops them onto the stairs and it falls into the snow, and then she discovers that there's actually a knothole underneath the snow and it's fallen all the way through and she can no longer retrieve those. Like those are little moments that I think work. Ultimately, it is. I like it. I think it's a good episode. I think I appreciate what's going on, even though some of the major elements are flawed.
And what I guess the biggest disappointment for me is you've got Robert Zemeckis, who's directing, Fred Decker, who's writing, and this episode isn't like a super standout. It's not like The Man Who Was Death.
They rely a little too much on the setting and the twist of it. I'll definitely give you that. Lately, there have been a lot of like Christmas horror movies. Other than Black Christmas and maybe Silent Night, Deadly Night in the early 80s, like there hadn't been too many takes on that shiny kind of brightly colored holiday and the horrors that can sort of lurk or come loping out of the night for you. And I think this really worked. I mean, I liked it a lot more when I was, 16. I didn't not enjoy it while I was watching it.
Yeah, and again, I think Larry Drake is great, and he's kind of the saving grace of the episode.
Yeah, he's real scary, man.
If you're a fan of the Darkman series, you know that he plays Durant in the Darkman series. He was Dr. Giggles in that movie.
Sure, the eponymous Dr. Giggles.
Yeah, he was a great actor. He's one of the better character actors again. I mean, that's the one thing about this show that's very similar to a show like Twilight Zone or even Kolchak, another show that I talk about once a month. They got a lot of really good character actors from the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, it did, and it allowed them to maybe play against type. Like, nobody was going to, I mean, obviously with Larry Drake, they cast him just a couple years later as a psychotic killer, but at the time he was mainly known as basically an autistic character on LA Law. Like, we've gotten to know him only as sort of this gentle giant character. And I think this predates Darkman as well, where he played a villain. Yeah, that's a pretty good hallmark of the series, where they allowed these people to sort of jump in and play and actually sort of expand the public's perception of what they were as performers. I don't think anyone was expecting that performance from that guy when this episode aired.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Again, looking at it now, 2018, different story, but then completely out of the kind of blue for him as an actor.
Yeah, he's real good in the episode. Mary Ellen Trainor, not so good. Should be pointed out that was Robert Zemeckis' wife at the time.
There you go.
Well,
smacks a little bit of Kate Capshaw to me.
A little bit, but you know what? Kate Capshaw is fucking great in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. I mean, that character is shrill and awful, but that's what it's supposed to be. So that worked, and I don't necessarily believe in dismissing out of hand like a filmmaker casting their spouse in something, because sometimes it works fucking like gangbusters. Like, I loved Adrienne Barbeau in The Fog and in Escape from New York when she was with John Carpenter. Those are good performances from her.
Emily Blunt in A Quiet Place.
Yeah, she's really good in that movie. Like, why wouldn't he cast her in it? She's a fucking really good actress. In this case, it speaks to Mary Ellen Trainor not being that great, although he put her in smaller roles in a lot of his movies, and she appeared in it should be pointed out that the Tales from the Crypt themselves, this series, like the executive producers behind it were in fact Robert Zemeckis and Walter Hill and Joel Silver, who was like the mega producer in the mid to late 80s. And Joel Silver used her a lot too. She's in all the Lethal Weapon movies. And Richard Donner, that's the other guy who was sort of behind this series. It was nice of him to let her play the role, but it was the wrong way to go. Like Joan Collins in the original one, like Joan Collins is kind of her character is kind of like the bitch character, and we're not supposed to like her. But as horrible as a human being is, who's killing their nice husband in order to get the money, like you're with her in that original take on it, from beginning to end. Like once Santa shows up, like I don't care what she's been doing, like she as a person draws me in and has that bit of charm that we were sort of discussing, that an anti-hero needs. Mary Ellen Trainor, maybe it's a combination of what we were saying, where the character is so dumb and she's portraying it so shrilly that I can't wait for Santa to put an axe in her head. That is a terrible thing for your lead character, for the audience to want. Nevertheless, there it is.
I agree, 100%. It feels like a missed opportunity for her in the episode. It's just it's very one-dimensional and very flat.
Right. And now, having said that, I do think the direction in the episode is really spot on. Obviously, Robert Zemeckis is a great filmmaker. I don't care what anyone says. When he's on, he's really on. And I thought he was on in this episode. And he indulges in something at the beginning, which I really like that he does in a lot of his movies. And nobody does this as well as him. He'll take a credit sequence where he just pans a room and just showing you the artifacts that people have in their home. He tells you their entire story, which he does at the beginning of this episode. Not to the degree he will in some of his other movies. No one does that better.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, again, I agree with you. Zemeckis is a good film director, so you're not going to get any complaints out of me on that one. So, I mean, come on, Back to the Future, come on.
Yeah, and he will direct in one of the later episodes, is also one of my favorites. Obviously we'll talk about that when we get it. But so, he had his hands in a couple of other episodes that I thought were a little more assured than this one. But I did like coming off of Man Who Was Death, who, there are horrific elements to it, but it's not a horror tale specifically. I liked this one sort of coming on the heels of it and diving kind of head on into what the horror genre is supposed to be, which is Stephen King always said, you chase a character up a tree and then you start cutting down the tree like that. I think this works on that level of horror, and so I would recommend this episode ultimately.
Yeah. I would not.
Oh, snap.
I would say that the Larry Drake stuff is good. But the Mary Ellen Trainor stuff is so
Yeah, it's hard to get past. I know, man.
Yeah, her character is so unredeemable and so boring, unfortunately.
Yeah, okay.
It's just kind of it's a skip. It's a soft skip, but it's not downright atrocious like some of the episodes we're going to watch. Even some of the episodes later this season. So
yeah. Well, we're at odds, my friend.
Right off the bat, there we go.
This episode is not garbage, by the way.
We're introduced to the characters. They meet the Crypt Keeper after wandering off from a tour in the catacombs, even though they're told not to. And so the first story is the original telling, the first screen telling of a story that is very near and dear to your heart and all through the house. And instead of Mary Ellen Trainor, it is Joan Collins.
Joan Collins, who is 1 billion% better than Mary Ellen Trainor in this role, represents a level of sophisticated evil in all the ways that Mary Ellen Trainor was kind of a bumbling fool. It completely lacks any of the sort of boring expositional dialogue that was peppered through the American version, the Robert Zemeckis version. The story is effectively exactly the same. It is a wife murders her husband on Christmas Eve. She has a young daughter there. It just so happens that a mental patient has escaped from an asylum and has donned a Santa Claus costume, although in this case it's Father Christmas, because these stories all take place in England. This movie is an English production. Amicus was an English company. All the acting and all the settings are all in England. However, where it differs from the American one is how skillful and stylish the whole thing is, particularly the set design. Let's sort of point to that. It's sort of that retro-futurist early 70s, sort of passing out of the mod phase in England and into a more contemporary design. I love the look of the house in this one. When we talked about the American version, I said that they kind of stacked the deck in favor of the heroine, or the villain, if you will, because they made her husband to be kind of a prick, like from the get-go. And in this case, they don't do that. They go just in the opposite direction. They make him like really, really sweet. Like he's bought her this brooch, and like he's written this sweet card to her. This line always sort of sticks in my head, where they're showing you the note, and at the bottom he's written like an X, like for a kiss, and he narrates it in his head to us, and he says, "and a big kiss" at the very end. What did you think of this version of it?
I mean, obviously it's much better than the Mary Ellen Trainor one, but again, that's not really hard, like you said. You've got Joan Collins, who is much more of an evil character, which I think works in this telling of the story, and it also helps that they downplay the idea that her husband is an asshole. I think playing up the fact that she's just really mean-spirited and a murderess, and downplaying that he's just kind of like an asshole, works in its favor, which is a lot of fun for kind of flipping the original shows, or the show's premise on its head, because it's not what you're expecting if you're going into this expecting it to be similar to the show. Everything else is the same, essentially.
Pretty much.
Which is good, and it's also feels shorter than the episode, which is also good.
I believe it actually is.
Yeah, that was one of the problems I had with the episode, is that it feels like they were padding it out for time. And in this, it's pretty straight to the point. There's not a whole lot of dicking around. There's not a whole lot of wheel spinning. Straight to the point. Really straightforward. I liked it a lot. I thought it was really good. And Joan Collins is really good. Joan Collins definitely is the standout.
The character in the American version, like, she kills her husband and then doesn't really seem to have a plan beyond that. Whereas this character has thought it through. She knows that she's going to hit him in the head with this thing, and then she's going to make it look as if he tumbled down the stairs. Now, I mean, obviously she gets some blood everywhere, and that was unforeseen. Nevertheless, she's ready to scoop it all up into a champagne flute and then pour it at the bottom of the stairs, so it looks as if he had just fallen down and died. Whereas the Mary Ellen Trainor characters was going to take his body into the backyard and then dump him into a well, thus ensuring that she would never get the insurance money because he would just be a missing person for a couple of years. So a much more devious character in this case.
And I gotta say, because of that fact, I'm actually on her side as the episode progresses. Whereas the Mary Ellen Trainor, I was kind of like, man, if she gets killed, she gets killed. She's kind of an idiot anyway.
I'm not on her side because she's obviously a very malicious character, but I think that, again, the only thing that is lacking is the performance by the Father Christmas, but again, kind of cutting it for time means that you don't have to really go out of your way to really play it up like they did with Larry Drake in the Tales from the Crypt TV show.
Yeah, I mean, they just need the outside threat.
Yeah, it's a really good kind of opener to the movie. I think it's definitely better than the original, or the TV show, which, again, works in its favor because you know that I'm not a huge fan of the TV show's version.
I think it's interesting that they started with this. Like, you know, ordinarily Christmas is the end of the year, and you think this would be sort of the capper at the end, but they sort of they launch with it, which I like, and it's not a supernatural tale necessarily. We get a little bit of both, or rather, you know, supernatural and not throughout the thing, but it's a good, nice intro to the tone that Tales from the Crypt sort of likes to balance. So, yeah, no, I think this particular story is a winner.
Of course, you're all here by invitation, but don't let it disturb you if these paintings per se don't happen to be your thing. These are rather special paintings, the kind of hanging generally put up with a noose. This painting, for example, is of a rather special world. What has become perpetuated in the language as the ghetto, that dismal realm of pushcarts and poverty, where hopes are stamped down like dirty shoes on snow. Death is a commonplace visitor to these somber alleys, but occasionally someone else visits. Our painting is called The Messiah on Mott Street, and this place, should you not already know it, is the Night Gallery.
Oh boy, we're in for a Rod Serling kind of an evening. The Messiah on Mott Street is written by Rod Serling and directed by Don Taylor. He is a returning director to Night Gallery. Guys, you know the other episode he directed? They're tearing down Tim Riley's bar. This one stars
This is the moment I wish I had the soundboard for He's a Jolly Good Fellow. Because really, I mean...
literally the only thing missing from this episode.
Wow, you know what? You're right.
This one stars Edward G. Robinson, the original Little Caesar, Yaphet Kotto, Tony Roberts, and Joseph Ruskin as a fanatic. He was the man in the bottle in the original Twilight Zone. He was the genie in that. He was so goddamn scary. This one's a period piece set in the 1920s. Oh, no, wait. This is contemporary. This is a contemporary tale of a young boy looking for the Messiah on the streets of New York to help his ailing grandfather. What'd you think of this one, Mike?
Was that a mistake that it's 1920s? No, it's contemporary? Because I couldn't tell what the hell year this was. What the hell was going on? I mean, it feels like Grandpa's apartment building is from a whole other era, as well as a lot of the people out on the street, but not everybody, because nobody seems to have any sort of issues with this little kid just going out and bringing Yaphet Kotto home. It just seems a little weird that there's a black guy in the living room. Are you aware of this?
Am I seeing things?
It takes so long for the kid to find the Messiah. Just for him to leave the apartment. There's just so much of all of the stuff I did not mind this episode at all. In fact, it felt like there was a lot more to it that had I read this as a story or even a novella, that I would have picked up a lot more. It just felt very literary with its construction. I was really happy to see Tony Roberts show up in this. I mostly know him. We talked a little bit about Woody Allen recently. I mostly know him from his work with Woody Allen, like Annie Hall, and played against Sam. I mean, especially Annie Hall. So I was very happy to see him. But he feels very 1972, 73. And Yaphet Kotto feels very 1972, 73. And then the rest of the story feels like it is in the 1920s or 30s.
I was waiting for Tony Roberts to ask Edward G. Robinson if Jew eat Jew. Did Jew eat? I distinctly heard him call me a Jew. I do not understand what in God's name the point what in Yaphet Kotto's name is going on here. Was this segment 40 minutes and somehow Rod Serling went into the TARDIS with it and added another 40? I've never seen a segment take so long. Like I
36
I was
Wow.
feeling hyperbolic, but more or less correct. Like it's fucking insane. I cannot believe that somebody thought that anybody would be compelled by this. I think we all know the story that they're getting at and the message that it's trying to, I guess, attempt to get out. But wrong way to go. I mean, if Camera Obscura was a little long, if the last episode had some segments that were a little long, holy shit. This is probably the worst segment I've seen on this show in terms of the length feeling double what it actually is.
It is a sensitive take on the Jewish experience centered around Christmas time. Way to go, Rod.
I don't know who Santa is. Wow.
This segment is worse to me in every way than Tim Riley's bar, except for the aforementioned lack of "for he's a jolly good fellow." But you know why? Because Tim Riley at least wasn't precious. And this is, thanks to the adorable subplot of grandson Mikey wandering the streets alone to find the Messiah. By the way, when he's not doing that incredibly dangerous thing, evidently this tiny, tiny child is taking care of his ailing grandfather. Is he taking himself to school as well? Is he doing the grocery shopping? That's what I'm getting out of it. Why is Tony Roberts not intervening? By the way, Tony Roberts, when I think of him, I always think of taking a Pelham 123, just trying to make that ailing mayor get out of bed and come deal with the subway situation. This episode, I get where he's coming from. It's yet another, the downtrodden man. We also get this really false happy ending where the check from his long-lost brother arrives and everything's going to be okay. And you know what? Yaphet Kotto, he might have been the Messiah, but he might have just been the mailman. You know, it's a bit ambiguous because we know most mailmen are delivering packages at fucking 1 o'clock in the morning on Christmas.
Thank you. This whole thing where they had to make sure to point out the clock and that it was just about midnight. And then everything else basically contradicting that it was anywhere near midnight, and especially that the kid was just outside and it was daylight and now it's pitch black and midnight. And I'm like, what is going on? Thank you for bringing that up.
Day for night and the back lot. What a combination.
I was so confused at I felt like I had fallen asleep for a minute and like missed it. It's what a choice. Let's just put it that way. As if 36 minutes wasn't enough, you needed to have a time jump inside of your segment, a couple hour time jump, like it. And the story that they're telling is not that interesting. It's just we've seen these. Wasn't there a Twilight Zone 85 thing where the guy was Santa Claus and it was the drunk guy was Santa? Like this has that same just like saccharine,
which was a remake of a segment from the original Twilight Zone, right?
Night of the
Which feels like that same saccharine bullshit. That's this is just so like
this is not a Night Gallery segment. This is a Twilight Zone segment. There's
hat in hand, poor man bullshit constantly.
Having Edward G. Robinson think he's like facing the angel of death for 2 seconds does not equal a horror tale. This is a tale of fantasy. And it has no place. I don't care if this is their Christmas episode, and it is because it aired on December the 15th. But I don't care if it is their Christmas episode.
Yeah, well, I mean, they do point out that Jewish children do not know who Santa Claus is, per Rod Serling. It's like, what fucking no? Like, that's not how that works at all. Like, it is not how that works at all, Rod. And we know that, and you know that. It's so masturbatory at this point with Rod Serling. Like, I need 40 minutes of this 50-minute show to tell this story. You know what? Whatever, Rod. Fine. Sure. We'll go and shoot our segment with Zsa Zsa Gabor. Like, whatever, Rod. It's just at some point, it's like, when is enough too much? And it's like 30 minutes is a little much for this show, frankly.
But it's good to see Yaphet Kotto. I mean, he's got like 3 lines, but the man is walking gravity. And just that the last interaction between him and Tony Roberts is pretty good. It doesn't redeem anything.
So this episode aired December 20th, 1985. It is ostensibly the first season of the show's Christmas episode. And the first segment, Night of the Meek, is a remake of the original episode, also titled The Night of the Meek, from the original run of the show. That episode had Art Carney in it, and it is very similar in tone and structure to this episode. This episode, however, is written by Rockne O'Bannon, adapted from the original story by Rod Serling, and it stars everyone's favorite lovable asshole, William Atherton, and Richard Mulligan, from a sitcom that I am way too young to have any idea about.
Oh, I sure watched a lot of soap.
Yeah, me too.
But Richard Mulligan replaces the Art Carney character from the original episode, which is a down-on-his-luck mall Santa who ends up becoming real Santa for an evening. And then for life, apparently, because that's the way this episode airs.
Forever.
He didn't even have to push anybody off of a roof. Isn't that weird? So, what did you guys think of this segment?
I was happy to see Richard Mulligan. I always liked him as Bert on Soap, and we should make sure that people do not confuse him for the captain on the Police Squad movies, even though there is a little bit of a similarity between the two guys. And
I was going to say, or confuse him for Donald Moffat from The Thing, who actually happens to be in an episode of this show on this episode, because that's who I thought he was for like the first couple minutes. I was like, that's the guy from The Thing. Oh, wait, no, it's not. And then when Donald Moffat shows up later in the episode, I was like, no, that's the guy from The Thing. Holy shit.
And the guy from The Reanimator. Holy cow.
That's not the guy from Reanimator. Oh, is it?
No, that's not David Gale. That was Fritz Weaver.
Yeah, I thought Fritz Weaver was in, wasn't he in one of those, the Reanimator films?
No, man, he's in Creep Show. He's not in Reanimator. David Gale is the...
Jesus
the
Christ.
professor.
But guess what? I totally thought the same thing.
Wow.
So lots of misidentification.
Yeah.
However,
good Lord.
This episode was out to confuse us.
I will tell you, I liked this segment a lot.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
As did I.
Mean, it was pretty predictable. I was just like, okay, yeah, at some point Atherton's going to show up and he's going to fuck stuff up, and then, there's going to be the fur coat is going to be in the bag. Blah, 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 blah. So I was like, okay, I see every turn before it happens. And this is without necessarily being that familiar with the Art Carney one. But, I mean, it worked.
Yeah, I mean, it's standing in contrast to the last episode we watched. There's a way to do heartfelt without being schmaltzy. And I think this kind of achieved that. I think Rockne O'Bannon's script is actually superior in every way to Alan Brennard's take on Her Pilgrim Soul. I found this episode to be kind of rousing, actually, I believe it to be an improvement on the Rod Serling original. I liked this one a whole lot more. The big selling point with that original one was that they got Art Carney to do the Santa part, but I think Richard Mulligan is so much better than him here, playing both. The sort of down and out drunkard. He doesn't lean too heavily into that standard sort of vaudevillian take on what a drunk is, like we saw Robert Morse do earlier this season. I think he does well there. And then, once the miracles start happening, I think he remains consistent as far as his character. I don't know. I really like this episode a lot. I thought it was as good a Christmas thing, a happy Christmas idea as the Twilight Zone could produce.
And I'm not going to lie, it got a little dusty in the room at the end. I mean, it's, it's an effective heartstring pulling moment there at the end when they're sitting on the stairs together.
Yeah. This one fired on all cylinders. I thought it was very solid.
Which is surprising because it feels like it could have really easily veered into saccharine, just melancholy bullshit.
Oh, yeah. And when you're dealing with Christmas, you already have that huge danger. I mean, you can go over the edge so quickly and just start relying on, Christmas spirit, it's the season of the holiday. But luckily, they managed to stay away from that. They managed to keep it more grounded than that, than just having to rely on this being a Christmas thing.
I mean, if I have a quibble with the episode, it's when he finally does turn into Santa in the end. I don't think we needed that.
It was a little much.
A little much.
Maybe a lot much.
What about those incredible special effects, though, when he disappears?
You, sir, are a liar. You are a charlatan. You are a false prophet among men, sir. Those special effects are bad. Like Star Trek TOS, man. Like, with Star Trek TOS without the charm. Just like, out of nowhere, he just dematerializes and goes up the chimney. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Well, and it was weird, too, because he was like, I want to see how he goes up the chimney, and then I don't think those little sparkle dots go up the chimney, do they?
They do.
Oh, okay.
They do, actually, yeah.
Thank goodness.
It's like Mike TV.
Not a good addition to the episode.
No, but it's, again, as I said, it's a quibble. Like, I didn't need it, but I wasn't exactly angry or that it happened. Like, it seemed appropriate, but at the same time, not necessary.
Yeah, I mean, the way to end it is you have him look in the mirror and pull on his beard and his mustache, and then it just cuts away to you hear something, William Atherton looking above the house, and you see him watching him fly away. You don't need to see everything else. Like, and I think I would have been fine with it. Like, it's too much. For once, it's showing too much.
Yeah, I can see that.
But let's talk about something that is just really bad. Because I genuinely don't know how anyone is going to have anything nice to say about this episode. Let's talk about, but can she type?
What do you get the woman who has everything but respect? Ask Karen Billings, recipient of a very unusual and definitely non-returnable present. Because this year, for Christmas, Karen Billings received the Twilight Zone.
I don't know, Chris. I really like this one.
What?
I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I really thought this was kind of cute.
I like the concept of it.
What?
I like the idea of somebody doing a mundane job suddenly becoming a superstar in some alternate reality.
Yeah, I like that
was
idea
clever
too,
and
but
fun.
The execution is bizarre.
Well, the MacGuffin of this magic Xerox machine is a little bit much.
Mm-hmm. But I liked all the characters in here. I liked the boss was a real prick. Yeah, I liked when she went to the other dimension and Jonathan Frakes shows up. I was just like, oh my God, look at young Jonathan Frakes with the beard. So good.
Yeah.
But you have to know is it fact or fiction? If this alien autopsy proves to be true, it could be the biggest piece of fact in the history of the world.
I just kept waiting for him to sit on a chair all strange.
You mean swing his leg over the top of the chair?
Yes, exactly.
That's not strange. That's the Riker.
That's the Riker maneuver, I know.
Pull down his top.
Right, twice. Yep.
Yeah.
I like the idea, like Father Malone said, of what this is trying to say. But I think the usage of a Xerox it just feels weird.
I mean, this was the era of those kind of things.
No, sure.
Yeah, I think about the word processor in the one that Stephen King penned for Tales from the Dark Side, where if he deleted people's names, they actually disappeared from the world. So I was like, okay, yeah, it's a little, goofy and everything, but I liked it. I liked that she went into this other dimension, that her car keys disappeared, and, things were different. And yeah, the whole idea of like her being treated like this superstar because she was a secretary, I really got into that idea. And then I was so glad that she managed to go back to that world and just live in that forever and not have to worry about this shithole that she was working at. I guess going through like a lot of problems in my job right now, I just really wish that I was Pam Dauber or could be with Pam Dauber. I wish that I was Jonathan Frakes' chair.
You wish you were Jonathan Frakes' chair?
That's right. Whoa. Throw his leg over me. That'd be fantastic.
Sit on your face.
Feel that beard. Yeah.
Jonathan Frakes is a nice guy.
And Pam Dauber was making me real thirsty. I was just really digging her in this.
I do like how Jonathan Frakes' character is just referred to in the billing as single guy.
Mm-hmm.
The single guy, yeah.
Single guy who wants to know if it's fact or fiction.
No need for names here.
No.
Now, Chris, when we talked to Rockney S. O'Bannon about Shadow Man, we talked about this episode, not this particular segment, but the Christmas episode as it was. And originally, Harlan Ellison was going to make his directorial debut with a segment called Knackles, which is sort of this anti-Santa Claus one. It was going to be the actual horrific episode or segment of the piece, and then CBS, their censors killed it like a month before they were going to start filming, and this is why Harlan Ellison left the show after this particular episode. So in its place, they put in this, and the only real Christmas... I mean, they mention it's Christmas Eve, and that we can see a Christmas tree at one point, but that was their way of shoehorning this into their otherwise Christmas episode, because the first and third episodes are definitely Christmas-based. But I just thought it was funny, like, watching it, like, just seeing the Christmas tree in the background going, like, oh, okay, yeah, that's why this is a quote-unquote Christmas episode.
Yeah, I really had to look for that, and to the point where I had forgotten until you guys reminded me. I was, oh, yeah, I guess there was a poinsettia in the background.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a passing mention, like, and it's Christmas tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
Okay, sort of a Christmas
work
episode.
On Christmas?
Yeah. But I think, Mike, you might have swayed me in your direction. I liked the episode just fine. I thought it was okay, but yeah, there's something sort of charming about the mundane becoming the spectacular. With I'm a high earning supermodel, but really what I want to be is a secretary.
Right.
I mean, again, I like the idea. I just feel like it's not much of an episode. Does that make sense? It's like it falls flat as a segment. Does that make sense? I don't know. Maybe
yeah, I respect. I'm not a fan of the Xerox machine.
Well, there's just
although I do like the
Xerox
symbols.
Machine transports her the end.
Yeah, pretty much.
Had she used it twice or something, and like maybe some different settings took her to another place. I mean, maybe make it like more central to the episode, and then it's like, why are these guys coming to take this thing away? But yeah,
and is she the only one who can use it and go to an alternate dimension?
Right. Yeah. Maybe send that friend of hers someplace else.
Maybe send her boss someplace else, because that guy's a dickhead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Yeah, I wonder what they do to bad bosses in that dimension.
Bad bosses don't exist, apparently, is kind of what it seems.
Or maybe they're run out on a rail.
Tarred and feathered.
It was just a little weird. But, like, at the same time, I guess, like, that's the universe she lives in now, and now she's, like, a big hotshot. So there you go.
It's almost like she found her way into the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, permanently. I do like these episodes where it's like, and now you're in the Twilight Zone permanently. I do appreciate that.
Yeah, and it is a departure in that most Twilight Zone episodes, although, not recently, where the twist ends up being horrific and damaging to the lead character. Here it's somebody who is downbeat and downtrodden and gets what they deserve.
Right.
And I guess we got that with the previous one as well.
Well, let's talk about an interesting third segment in what has been up until this point a very good episode, or good to middle of the road episode, The Star.
The survey ship Magellan, bearing with it the last legacy of a long dead people. a legacy to be kept and cherished, and in time bequeathed to a world still unborn from the current inhabitants of the Twilight Zone.
So it is an adaptation of an Arthur C. Clarke, one of the titans of sci-fi, his short story, The Star. It is adapted by Alan Brennert, so, you know, it's going to be good if he adapted it and didn't outright write it. It stars Fritz Weaver and Donald Moffat. Yes, Donald Moffat from The Thing, not Richard Mulligan, who's not in The Thing. And it focuses on Fritz Weaver, who is a father, as in of the church, and Donald Moffat, who is a doctor of the science, and kind of... You're welcome. And it focuses on kind of an interesting star that they come upon on Christmas in space.
Christmas in space, y'all.
Bet you can't figure out what's going to happen here.
Not telegraphed at all.
I did not pick up on that.
Oh, okay.
So
good, then it worked.
Am I a dumb?
No, you're not a dumb.
Am I a dumb? No. But I'll tell you what, even though I didn't pick up on it, I really liked it.
Yeah, this one I wasn't as hot on. Just because...
Didn't have Riker.
It's just two guys talking. And there were times where... these two guys look fairly different, but dressed up in their get-ups and stuff, there were times where I was confusing these two characters. And then when he called him father, I was just like... Is that his dad? What is going on here?
If it was his dad, he would have called him daddy, let's be honest.
I like the idea. I really like the idea that they were like, this is our science officer, this is our engineer, this is our navigator, and our Jesuit priest. Like, what is happening on this spaceship?
It's a spaceship of value and of religion.
Oh my god! And look, I actually do like the concepts of this episode, but the space outfits that they're wearing, like straight from Lost in Space. Oh my god!
Yeah, the space outfits are really boring and like generically conventional.
So shiny.
Not good. The
really
outfits
bad.
They're wearing are real bad.
Yeah, they look like something I could see in like Outer Mongolia. You know.
Oh, they look like something. They look like something that your mom would make for you when you were a kid and you're an astronaut for Halloween.
Oh boy, and I hate. I mean, this isn't necessarily like dialogue as exposition, but when we open on these two characters, they're having the sort of age-old science versus religion debate. And all I could think is, these two guys have been in space for God knows how long. They've not had this conversation yet.
Well, not on camera.
I mean...
Right.
Right.
You're welcome.
The thing that got me is that... So it's this whole thing of like, hey, yeah, the civilization, they seem to be great, and then they died out, and their star exploded, and then that ended up being the star that the Magi saw on the way to Bethlehem. And, oh, yeah, so science kind of caused religion or whatever. And I'm just like, but... hasn't Christianity caused nothing but problems since it was invented? So you're welcome?
Thank you, science.
Right. I'm just like, yeah, had Christianity never happened, I think we would probably be in a much better place. I don't know.
What I liked about the episode was the notion that doesn't actually pay off. I mean, it kind of does, but then it gets tempered, where this Jesuit priest realizes that, how many billions of people ended up getting extinguished so this star could, lead these people to, or signify the birth of the Savior on our world.
Right.
But then, I like the idea that everything in his mind just completely shattered at that moment. But then, of course, the science guy, because we have to have this, balance of science and religion, steps in and is like, it's okay because this and this and this, no. How about just leave this guy a broken man? This would be very Twilight Zone-y if he realized that, the birth of his savior signified the death of another billion. That to me would have been an interesting end to the episode. Something, a little bit more macabre and sort of shocking. But it doesn't ever achieve that. It just kind of stays level the whole time, where science and religion can go hand in hand.
So here's the thing. My dad is a huge fan of Arthur C. Clarke. And when I was younger, my dad bought me at Half Price Books a bunch of Arthur C. Clarke books. And being someone who reads a lot, I read all of them. And this story was included in one of those, like, collection of short stories. The original short story ends the way you're talking about, Father Malone.
Oh, wow.
Where he's like, oh my God, no! Like, what the fuck ever? Like, the priest is all, like, just completely beside himself. And, like...
That's fantastic.
That's how it should have ended.
Well, I like that ending, but I do like the kind of poem they found in the episode in the cave. You know, it has a good message. I mean, look, in this 3-part Christmas episode of Twilight Zone, they can't end it on a bummer. Like,
yeah, they should have. This is the Twilight Zone.
This is the Twilight Zone. If you're going to end anything on a bummer.
But it's their fucking Christmas episode, guys. I would agree with you
but
on any other episode.
We've already...
But, like, I feel like they can't send you off with that.
Well, then they should have started with this segment, because the 2 others are so thoughtful and uplifting. Like, you needed a gut punch in there at some point. Maybe in the middle they could have put it. You know what? No, forget everything I'm saying. It should have ended this way, and it should have been shattering.
Listen here, Jordan Peele. We get it. You want to be edgy.
Oh, stop. No.
We get it. You have a racial agenda.
That would be if 1 billion black people died in order to cause Christianity.
Right.
That would have been the Jordan Peele episode.
The racial.
You mean the star exploded and caused slavery?
Exactly.
You mean Adam Scott was on the plane the whole time with the podcast?
Oh my God. My mind is blown.
I am having flashbacks.
A million Dan Carlins died so we could get 1 episode of Hardcore History.
Oh, many Bothans died so you could have a savior in Christ.
Twilight Zone 2019 can go and fuck itself. But hey, we're getting it in 2020, so what the fuck do we know? Nothing. We're just three cisgendered white men. Our opinions don't matter.
Good place to end it.
Except we can't end it there, unfortunately, as much as I want to.
Hey, this is Jason Kleberg from the Force 5 podcast, a show that forces a guest to come up with a movie-themed top 5 list topic, and then we reveal our picks on air. Top 5 heist films, top 5 tearjerkers, top 5 movie dogs. Every show you'll be asking yourself, what would be on my list? Guests include directors, screenwriters, actors, podcasters, musicians, authors, and even a professional wrestler. Subscribe to the Force 5 podcast, and you won't just be a listener, you'll be a list nerd. The Force 5 podcast, available wherever you're listening now.
Hello, this is Chris Haskell from They Live by Film. For those that don't know us, Adam, Zach, and I, we built a podcast over the last 2 years that's a combination of film discussion from 3 very different perspectives, as well as industry interviews with the leaders in boutique Blu-ray and 4K community. We started with Dev Crocodile, but over time we've been lucky enough to speak with Arrow Video, Severin, Mondo Macabro, Vinegar Syndrome, Radiance, Indicator, most of the OCN partner labels. It's been a blast. You can find us wherever you podcast, and also actually recently as part of Someone's Favorite Production Podcast Network. We hope to see you online.